So, hey guys, today we're going to be talking about Disencoder's kind of like proposed ban list, saying that it would fix the game if we banned all these cards. And honestly, I think it's just not the case. So, first off, Disencoder missed quite a few cards, so we'll start with this. Different Dimension Ground. This turn, any monster sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Like, it's not like macro or fissure in the sense that, it just lasts forever, but, well, yeah, this is pretty much just fissure, but lingering, So, in some cases, this is honestly more annoying than fissure. So, yeah, we missed this, and it's like, yeah, there are quite a lot of floodgates in this game. So another one, still of kind of the macro variety, we have Dark Law, and you might be thinking, Dark Law isn't that bad, right? Isn't it though? So before, this is not viable or that good. But if this ban list were to go through, here's an idea. What if we do this? We activate A Hero Lives. So A Hero Lives allows you to pay half your life points, not hard once per turn. Special summon a level 4 or lower elemental hero monster from your deck. So far, so good, right? Doesn't seem that bad, but I guess this will require some garnets, which is just not like necessarily the best or the worst, but essentially what we do with A Hero Lives here is we are going to then special summon, of course, a hero monster. And the hero monster in question will be Shadow Mist, which has the effect to search any change quick play spell card from your deck to your hand if this card is special summoned, which it will be because you use A Hero Lives. So if we do this, then we can grab just regular Mass Change. And Mass Change, of course, allows you to go into Dark Law, and you don't need to even grab Mass Change 2 because you control Dark Hero, which would be Shadow Mist. And then, boom, macro effect achieved. Great. And those are just two somewhat splashable ways. If we want to go even less splashable, I'm sure there's just something. And just while we're here, this would be perfectly legal under the coder ban list. Ah, yes, skill drain's banned, but Red Rexterm's legal. Great. And also, Red Reboot would be banned. So, yeah, against this counter trap spam deck where, you're essentially going to have to deal with this floodgate. Red Reboot, honestly, doesn't even feel like enough. So something like, I guess, no, I would think about it, and there are a lot of situations where you would just get randomly screwed over by this deck, which, of course, they can also play Dimensional Barrier, which would be banned, I suppose. And then there is also, technically, different dimensional whatever that card was called, I don't even remember. Essentially, the trap fissure we had there, that would still be legal, and it's totally playable by the stack, which is annoying. Well, we'll put it that way. And a lot of these cards being banned, like the ones in the extra, I don't think they matter that much. So Verte, honestly, I think we're past the point of caring about Verte that much. Verte is just whatever at this point. Cards that are unnecessary to be banned, I think, honestly. Kashtira Rysar is only playable in Kashtira, so this is just a really weird one. Because if you consider like going first, going second, it's only really unfun to be dealing with a Rysar going second. But going second, there's like not a whole lot you can do about, for example, macro fissure, whatever. Right? Yeah, that's understandable. But against the Rysar, you already banned Unicorn, right? So how are you going into a Rysar anyways? Wouldn't it be like a 2-card combo, which you could, in theory, like hand trap? So it's like, huh? Why? What? Honestly, this feels like just at spite, honestly. But next Baron? I mean, Baron's like, you could argue like either against or for Baron. But, shortly you'll realize that this Baron hit doesn't really matter that much, honestly. And Dweller, I don't think is just super relevant right now, so it's like, Like, Dweller being banned only matters when, like, the card is technically kind of relevant, which it's kind of not right now, so it's whatever. I mean, yeah, it really isn't doing a whole lot right now. I'll be in the Sanctifier Dragon, just enables dumb crap. But I mean, if this was like, I guess, used as intended, it wouldn't be that big of a deal. But you know, yeah, this card's just dumb. Not a whole lot to say about that. Thunder Dragon Colossus. Honestly, banning this doesn't even matter. Like, the only deck that really would summon Thunder Dragon Colossus is, well, it should be Thunder Dragon. So I mean, I think the better option is just ban Corridor, so it's not like as splashable. And honestly, what does Corridor do anyways? Like, aside from enable Colossus to be somewhat splashable, like, I think this is more of the problem card right now. Otherwise, I don't really think Thunder Dragon Colossus is going to be problematic, right? So yeah, that's fine. And then same kind of deal with Kelly Yuga, where Kelly Yuga is not the problem card either. Like Kelly Yuga, for what it's worth, if it's played as it's intended to be, well, yeah, the only reason this is problematic is because there's some decks that can summon this, and the to summon this on your opponent's turn, the only like reasonable way to do it, I guess, without taking a bajillion cards and having to hard draw like more or less garnets, is to specifically do it with this card right here, the Fam Knights. Rank up Magic Launch to summon the Kali Yuga. So honestly, this card is used for nothing but turboing Kali Yuga. So why not just ban the Fam Knights rank up Magic Launch? We're randomly hitting DD for like the sins of other decks. That's just why? I guess it's a card design issue, which is just like annoying, but you know, it is what it is, I guess. I think Kid Kellis, honestly, I mean, don't really care that much about Kid Kellis. I mean, if you ban a bunch of different cards like this, then I guess Kid Kellis becomes a little more appealing still. Because honestly, I think after Shifter was limited to 1, which, yeah, reminder that not all of these cards are at 3, right? Some of them are banned and whatnot, but yeah. Kikillos and Tillman, their play rate was, well, it went up a little bit, I think, but Tier's just always been popular. So I think a lot of people like Tier, so just, I mean, I'm of the opinion that, you know, if people have fun with Tier, they should be able to play it if they want. Like, they have to be able to play it somewhere, right? Because Tier's been, like, super butchered just all across the board, so at least they have a place to play. But for, like, if you're caring for, like, balance reasons or something, the just Axe Kit, I guess, you could make the argument for or against. I don't think Tiedemann is that disgusting right now. Like, it's not necessarily fun to play games, but I don't think the deck is strong. Like, not like that strong at least. I mean, like, it's kind of good-ish. It's going second ability, very questionable. It just depends, and you're running a bunch of garnets and whatnot, so it's like pretty dicey. It's just high roll gamble deck, I guess. So not a whole lot to say about that, but we're just going to go through the list here real quick. So Drone Lockbird, banning this, this is a straight up mistake. Maxi, I mean, you could go keep Maxi or ban Maxi, but if you were to straight up ban it, you would have to do a few more bans to kind of balance the game, I guess, to make it so that Maxi can be banned. I suppose like that'd be helpful. So stuff like adjusting called by and cross out, technically, like we could change if these cards are like limited, semi, whatever. We could adjust the ratios to kind of work on that a little bit and whatnot. But I mean, I genuinely think Maxi is fine, just if we keep it or not. So not a whole lot to say about that I haven't already said before. But okay, barrier statues. Banning all the barrier statues. I mean, yeah, whatever. It's okay, I guess. Yeah, there's nothing fun that you can do with the barrier statues, but you know, there's also the issue of, you know, we left a lot of the other stun kind of cards just available. So we'll just throw a few in just for fun, you know. That we have missed. Banisher of the Radiance. Any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Banisher of the Light. Any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead once again. Yeah, so these two guys are still legal. And then we also have, of course, Fossil Dino. And of course, this is all in the context of the Master Duel ban list. So Fossil Dino legal, and there's like right now a billion ways to search Fossil Dino for arguably I'd say no good reason, but you know, with the Galaxy stuff being released, that's another way to search Fossil Dino. So that's great, I guess. Well, all right, and then with these more floodgate cards, we missed still a few cards. So yeah, Power Sync Stone. This is legal, and this is essentially just skill drain. So that's still legal. 5 rainbow. This is still legal. This is at 1. And then after that, we have, let's see, Deck Lockdown, which is also at 3. And this is actually arguably better than Colossus because it's just Colossus effect. Plus, you can't special summon from the main deck, which just cripples like pretty much, I'd say generously every deck, except for like Tearlament exactly, which you know is banned. So yeah, I don't know what you do against this. Just, just hard open backer removal in best of 1, and make sure you have it in your main deck as well. But you know, don't open it going first because yeah, that'd be awful. Great. So deck lockdown, that's also legal. Okay, and then any other stun adjacent cards that we should be worried about? Yes. I mean, yeah, there are a few. Stun like techs, like all the Omniphages being summonable off of seals. So yeah, extra deck locked. You get hit by this, and then I mean, I think there's just one more that's kind of worrisome. But aside from that, I don't think there's like anything too bad. But honestly, uh, rollback, I don't know if you really need to ban rollback. I think like the more problematic card is just Ghost Meets Girl. Like I just straight up don't know why this card exists in the game. Like the Mayakashi and Shiranui players don't even like this card. Like the graveyard effect is nice, you know, you return one of your banished zombie monsters to the graveyard. That effect's useful, kinda. But I mean the card as a whole. I don't think anyone really likes this card, right? Yeah. So there's that, and then if you do consider the FTK you do with the rollback, I don't think that FTK is even like necessarily that good. But yeah, FTKs are also a problem, but we can get more into that later. Snow's usually only good if you can get ahead. If you can't get ahead, snow's just like kind of whatever, right? I mean, I don't really play snow. It doesn't really affect me, but I mean, I'd rather have more cards to kind of build around and play with. So I'm more in the camp of, in general, just not banning cards. But okay, Mathmech Circular. I mean, I don't know how I feel about this card. Honestly, it's just kind of meh. The fact that you can't really interact well with this card, like, I'd care more if this was the only card that did. But at this point in time, we have kind of several cards that are like circular. So just banning circular is just kind of pointless unless we kind of ban all the cards that are kind of like this. But the decks are also built around these cards, so that makes it kind of awkward. Well, with Mathmech in particular, it doesn't really matter too much. I mean, it sucks, but you can still play the deck. It's not like killer. Like if you removed, let's see, if you like removed Poplar, for example, it's not that integral to the deck. It won't like murder the deck, right? You still need at least like one Poplar to kind of play Snake Eye, I guess, right? And then we have Artifact Scythe. Like, yeah, I just don't. I don't even know why this card is still legal in this game. It's just okay. Lancia. Uh, he just wants all the lingering kind of floodgates out of the game. The ones that are hand traps at least, which is just like, all right. I mean, Lancia's not really doing anything, but okay. Yeah. Shifter. I mean, yeah, I've said this time and time again. Like, this is the most disgusting hand trap. Like, pretty much the most disgusting card in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! Just period. Like, This is just next level. So if you get hit by Max E, you only have to deal with Max E for a turn. If you get hit by Shifter, you have to deal with it for two turns. What the hell is up with that? Just really. So I can't even set a card and have my cards not get bashed next turn. That's ridiculous. All right, and also of course this can be activated whenever, so I can activate this at the start of my turn, and then my opponent's next turn they just what was the response to deal with Shifter? Let me Called by on my opponent's turn one. Yeah, that's a play. Kishira Unicorn. I mean, eh. This just acts as cash, which sucks. But I mean, all the Kishira main deck cards are just somewhat abusable. But I mean, yeah, it's just kind of dumb. Yeah, I don't know how I feel about this. Arch Nemesis Protoss. Protoss honestly is kind of just whatever. So the issue with Protoss is that you have to correctly call the attribute. So if your opponent is not playing this attribute, or if they don't care about special summoning too much on their own turn, like for example, let's say we have Ninja, we'd be able to just normal Hanzo pass and then we'd be fine, right? So honestly, yeah, I don't think Protoss is that bad right now. Even if you did Protoss call like Fire, I mean, that's just not that good in Master Duel unless you know what your opponent's on, right? Which you genuinely just don't really end up uh, knowing for sure, right? That's why you won't even see a lot of Sword Soul players search Protoss called Dark anymore, because it's just too risky now, because you're committing resources and main deck space to call an attribute your opponent might not even be on. So it's just not like that insane as like before, like with Tear Lament. Around that period in time, the only good attribute to really play was pretty much just light, or not light, dark. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. Escotos, kind of also whatever. But I mean, probably he would want these out of the game, because they're lingering floodgates. I guess that's probably what it is, and not so much if these cards are like good or not, because I don't think they're like that insane, because there are ways you can kind of play around and deal with these. So it's not that bad in my opinion. The grass looks greener. I mean, I just hate getting sacked by this card personally, but is this card that disgusting? I mean, yeah, you can search it with thrust and stuff, so sure, whatever. I mean, you can make arguments either for or against. There's also left arm offering, yup. But you can play around grass by just playing 60 cards, so I mean, if you're psycho, I mean, it's not really that bad. So in that aspect, I guess it's fine. Just don't play 40 cards, I guess. Sure. Triple Tactics Talents. So this card's pretty strong. I mean, the main thing uh, about this card is he dislikes that this card here will punish your opponent for interacting with you. I mean, Triple Tactics Talent is kind of just busted if it can resolve, but if it doesn't, hey, it's kind of whatever. So if you're playing specifically board breakers instead of hand traps, you're fine. And if you think about the power level of the hand traps that you have left after, just axing all the best ones, being like Goal, Maxi, Shifter, whatever, right? All of these cards, uh, yeah, it's kind of brutal now. So do you even really care enough to run hand traps instead of just running board breakers? But degenerate stuff exists as well, so it's kind of like, eh. Triple Tactics Talents, I mean, you could argue either for or against. It's kind of like, whatever. I don't think this is like a card that's ban worthy necessarily, because, you sometimes you do just need to be able to punish your opponent for playing like too many hand traps, doing too many things to you. So having a response of some sort is nice, because you're banning like Called By, Crossout, like, uh, what am I supposed to do when my opponent hand traps me? Am I just supposed to play engine only decks? Is mid range not an option? Like with one card combos and stuff, I guess maybe that's the argument you want to make. But kind of whatever. Triple Tactics Thrust. What's wrong with this card exactly? Like, what? What's wrong with Thrust? Is, huh? Uh, what? Just set a normal spell trap directly from your deck that you can't even activate this turn unless your opponent controls a monster? Or if you're going second, you can just grab like a Duster or something. Duster, Raigeki, wait, what's wrong with Thrust? And it can search any normal spell trap. Is that the concern? Like, I don't get it. Okay, original Sinful Spoil Snake Eye. Uh, yeah, I don't even know the explanation for this one, but alright, I guess. Is the idea that you don't want Azumina bridging to Snake Eye or something? I mean, I'm not sure if that really matters that much. Or, yeah, I guess that's all it would be. Maybe. Mansion of the Dreadful Dolls. I mean, is this card actually that big of a deal? I mean, what's the problem with this card again? The only thing this really stops is like effect failure, I think, right? It doesn't even stop Ash Blossom or Imperm. I mean, you did remove Droll, so it's like, eh. But this isn't the only FTK out there, so no particularly strong feelings on this. But I mean, just for consistency reasons, I'd say like this one's kind of dumb because you didn't hit enough FTKs to the point where this hit would like really matter. I don't think. Fisher? I mean, Fisher's just disgusting. Yeah, this card's like splashable even, but people don't play it like that right now, so it's whatever. Super Poly. Yeah, this card very strong. Going first, going second. It's kind of like disgusting strong for the same reason it says like something like a Droll where you can like technically you can stop your opponent from getting draws off of their Maxi, their Molcharmies or whatever if you activate Droll. Speaking of which, the Molcharmies are still legal, I suppose, in this ban list. Not sure why no one ever talked about that, but I mean, I guess it's worth mentioning at least. Super Poly, I mean, it's a powerful board breaker, but let me think for a second. I don't know. There are decks and ways to play around Super Poly, actually. Like, for example, with Kushtira, if we're looking at just the main deck Cash monsters, there's like literally nothing you can do with Super Poly against Cash. There are a few other decks like that. I mean, Super Poly is probably, surprisingly, just not that bad. I mean, it feels bad to get hit by a Super Poly, I guess. But I mean, I think I would need to analyze this more in particular, so this is the only card I'm like really unsure about. Uh, Going back to this, called by Crossout, these bans are dumb, and I'll get back to that later. Dimensional Barrier, I mean, this doesn't matter enough because we still have, you know, a lot of floodgates, in my opinion, still left to go. Rexterm, the Trap Fissure, and then we still have quite a few more to get through. Go back, I don't think this really matters as much as just getting rid of like your Ghost Meets Girl. Unless there's like another dumb target I don't really know about that you can do with rollback. It's whatever. Red Reboot, honestly, yeah. You can play around Red Reboot. It's just a choice that you didn't. And also, in Best of One, you have to kind of commit, right? Uh, Even if this does get rid of 1/3 of the cards in the game, right? You can no longer activate traps. You still technically have monster cards and also spell cards. So your strategy would have to be hard focused into mostly just traps for Red Reboot to really be good against you. So that was a choice, I guess. It's like getting hit by certain cards, right? Like Raigeki, you could have built around, I guess, like Raigeki, right? You could have chose a deck that could do something about that, but you didn't, you know? And some decks don't care about Raigeki, some do. I kind of feel like in the camp with Red Reboot, and also, you know, it's not like you can side deck in to Red Reboot in Master Duel since it's best of one, so Red Reboot I think is fine. Honestly, I'd even like to have this at 3. You don't even see this in like anyone's deck, honestly. So yeah, it's whatever. Anti-spell. Both players must set spell cards before activating them and cannot activate them until their next turn after setting them. This card's particularly dumb because if I were to set a quick play like well, this would be dumb to do, right? Instead of just using it off rip, right? But if we have Twin Twister and we were to set this, I would not be able to Twin Twister on turn 3 because anti-spell fragrances, you can only activate them until uh, your next turn after setting them. So that would be turn 4 before you'd be able to activate this. But I mean, of course, you would just use the soft rip, like chain 1 anti-spell, chain 2 twister. So that'd be the idea probably. Anti-spell, I mean, yeah, it's kind of dumb. It just, yeah, not a whole lot to say about this. Honestly, I think rivalry is probably like the most okay out of these floodgates. Just straight up. If you're playing just a monotype deck, which I mean it's not so much the case anymore, but before earlier in Master Duel, most decks were actually just monotype, so rivalry just didn't really do anything. Like, damn, I can only summon dragons in Dragon Link. I can only summon dragons in Tenpai. I can only summon like what else was there? Worms in my Sword Soul deck. Oh no, right? Yeah, I can only summon fiends in Yubel. Woe is me. So honestly, it's fine. Either with or without. Uh, I'm just feeling whatever about these cards. Skill drain. Yeah, it's skill drain. What else is there to say? Just ban it. Yep. So macro. I mean macro, fissure, same kind of idea where, going second, these cards are just completely useless. Going first, like I guess this is the case with most floodgates, but going second, they're terrible. But the 3 wins going first. Technically, it's just kind of degenerate strategy. But but we still have options for this, so kind of feels pointless unless we're hitting all of them. That's how I feel about it, at least. Goes in whatever. Tikaboo, yep, Tikaboo is actually the most disgusting out of all these. And for some reason, if I recall correctly, Tikaboo was at 3, and then we had like 2 rivalry and 2 Gozen. Like, really? Okay. So those cards getting hit, sure, whatever. Uh, let's put that back in actually. Okay. And then I think we've gone through most of these, like Apollosa. I think we haven't talked about Apollosa yet. Apollosa, I mean, I'm pretty indifferent to Apollosa. There are ways you can deal with Apollosa. Apollosa is like kind of annoying. Doesn't feel like that oppressive or that broken. You have to, well, somewhat commit to making the Apollosa, right? Because it is a Link 4. It it's more commitment than like a Baron per se. So I mean, I don't know how to feel about Apo. It's just whatever. Uh, I don't think I even use Apo that much in any of the decks I'm playing as of currently. So I mean, yeah, in terms of my decks, it would help me out if Apo were to be banned to an extent, I guess. Apo's not like that disgusting though, so I mean, I'm fine with either or, personally. But context of like balancing the game, I mean, Apo's really not that broken. It's unfair in the sense that it takes so many different it can tank so many different interruptions. You could Apo 4 times, well, up to 4, right? But if you were to Apo 4 monster effects, that is like almost the entirety of your opponent's hand. So assuming you use one hand trap, because you typically would, I guess, we'll go with that. So you hand trap once, you have 5 cards per turn 2. Apo can negate 4 of your 5, leaving you with 1 card, which probably isn't relevant. And then you just lose. I guess from that perspective, Apo looks a little bit broken, but I mean, Apo can also be outed with 1 card, and this does require commitment to make, so yeah, if we were to imperm Apo, for example, it's just trades uh 1 for I don't even know how Apo was made necessarily, but if we're considering like how Yubel makes Apo, yeah, that's kind of disgusting. But at the point, it's just a question of like if Yubel's just broken and not so much Apo. I don't know. That's how I feel about it. Curious. Uh, what was there left for this to enable if you ban this, right? What? We're banning kick colors. We're banning pullback. I'm not really sure what this enables anymore. Not really sure if this matters, if this is legal or not. I don't think this is even really that played right now. Not really sure that this is just kind of out of left field, really. Spray Elf. Um, what deck even plays Spray Elf, honestly, at this point? Spray Elf is a broken card. Everyone keeps saying this, but uh, what? When was the last time I've even seen this card used for anything? At some point, I heard people talking about, oh, SB Spray Elf, they'd be so disgusting together, and then I just see that no one ever does anything with them, even if you do have SB and Spray Elf. Yeah, so Spray Elf SP. What does that actually do for you? That's like one interruption, and SP is not really targetable anyways because SP takes itself out. So, um, yeah, not a whole lot to say about that. So yeah, that's whatever. Spray Elf. Let me think about it for a second. What does this enable? Yeah, absolutely nothing, as far as I'm aware right now. Did this ever enable anything actually? I mean, I guess there was like the fact that you could summon Merly twice, and also the fact that it could special summon like a milled Cyberstein. Anything else? No, not really, right? The most disgusting thing you ever did was try Elphys summon Cyberstein, right? And then you would summon like Nature Exterio. I think that was it. But alright, well, let's get down to it. Called by, cross out. Why is banning this a mistake? So there is a few, just a couple of decks that are really disgusting because of this ban list. So if this ban list were to go through immediately, first issue that we have to deal with, yo guys, anyone remember Super Heavy Samurai? What cards are holding back Super Heavy Samurai right now? So if we're focusing on specifically the Super Heavy Samurai cards, Drone Lockbird, gone. Shifter, gone. All of these like macro type effects, like these are some of the most played ones, of course, right? I mean, you could technically, if you try hard enough, you'd still get to some, but you know, for the most part, gone, 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 gone. So, yeah, everything holding back Super Heavy Samurai, gone. And then Called by, Cross Out, these aren't really played by Super Heavy Samurai anyway, so this doesn't affect Super Heavy Samurai. So the only thing on this ban list I think that really hurts Super Heavy Samurai at all is the fact that Baron would be banned. And usually you would make Baron before going into your main plays to kind of insulate your plays in Super Heavy Samurai, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a different option aside from Baron that you could do to kind of deal with just stuff in general. I mean, for example, I guess I could go like Terratop, make Bamboozling Gossip Shadow, and then make whatever Degenerate end board I want. But yeah, that's not just the only issue, you know. There is still the issue of actually just FDKs in general. If we play a consistent enough FDK without like Droll, I think Droll is the key player here, but without Droll, Maxi, whatever, yeah, you're just going to suffer against a lot of FDKs, and they're just able to play more so than before now. And also, because we're hitting the hand traps and we didn't hit the engine components of like a bunch of different decks. Well, because you hit Maxi in particular, though, if we just go with Maxi, people don't need to run Called by Crossout or Ash, so that opens up like 6, 7, 8 different slots in everyone's deck that could be used to shove in more engine, making the going second experience even worse, considering we also take out technically Super Poly. With the equation here, it just gets a little dicey, I think. So I think honestly, Troll is kind of necessary, even if you want like ban Maxi. I think like Troll, Lancia, these two would be fine to keep. Shifter is just dumb, and like that, there's literally nothing you can really do about Shifter, especially when you're banning like Called by Crossout. Well, are you going? Well, Crossout you probably don't care about, but Shifter, there's like nothing you do against Shifter in most cases, so you just suffer. That's Shifter for you, I guess. And then most of these hits just don't impact the game that much, except for like certain players. Where I, I'm just thinking if anyone would be like super happy about these hits, and I can't really think of too many people being happy about the hits in general. Because honestly, uh, like we have to go one of two directions where we hit less cards or we just hit everything. We hit way more cards than this, because this doesn't cover enough and this still leaves a lot of degenerate stuff available. And I mean, banning all of the stuff in that's degenerate in Master Duel is no easy task. And yeah, that's pretty rough. Yeah, we'll put it that way. But anyways, some of these cards are just not even that relevant anyways, so like we have one snow, one grass, one shifter. Um, all of these guys are at one, but they're actually just kind of annoying. We have three of these, and then these cards don't really matter that much. This one feels like it's at spite, honestly. And for the extra deck, honestly, this one's kind of like a spite ban as well, I'd say, for like just anti-Tenpai. For like, I don't know, feels a little unjustified to me. But let's see what else. Oh yeah, we're missing out on still a lot of different floodgates being banned, and just one thing we can do like that. There are a lot of different things to do in Master Duel still. Just one example, real quick. If we were to just grab Black Garden, this is pretty possible to grab, right? So if I want to be really disgusting, what I could do if I was playing, for example, Blackwing, because there's no Joel and Lockbird anymore. What is left against my deck that I actually care about if I am playing Blackwing? There's only two cards I actually care about. Ghost Ogre and Nibiru, but Ghost Ogre is situational. I don't always care about Ghost Ogre, depending on the hand, so it's just basically Nibiru. So if I just prohib declare the one card I actually care about for my combo, and this would be something I could do with Super Heavy Samurai as well, because this does not go to the graveyard. I can go ahead and do Prohib to call the one hand trap that actually interacts with my deck, and then I can go full combo. But specifically what this would mean in specifically the Blackwing deck I'm thinking is we're going to grab Black Garden, of course, and then we can full combo, do our Blackwing stuff, and you're going to be completely locked out of the game, hopefully, because you can't get rid of the tokens I give you. That's just an idea, I suppose. And there are quite a few other degenerate things we can do like that, and just FTKs in general, prohib, call, whatever, and then just go ahead and FTK, I guess. So yeah, FTKing kind of to an extent, I'd say yeah, it's still a bit of a problem. If I'm looking at these cards right here, what FTKs come to mind? Well, FTK or degenerate like strats that I can think of. Well, right now we do still technically have a Soul Day legal. A Soul Day, Prevalent Scorpio. Oh, spelled that wrong. We have Scorpio summon Darlington Cobra to do like dumb things, and then we have Ostinato, which also gets into like FTKs. There are a bunch of one cards that just straight up lead into some sort of FTK, and a lot of it's just legal right now. So yeah, not a fan of the span list, and just not having good options. Like, uh, what deck do you expect me to play here? Like, are we looking at one card combo starter that FTKs plus 4 hand traps to stop my opponent from FTKing me? Like, what's the plan here? Yeah, I don't think we're playing back and forth Yu-Gi-Oh with this one. That's all I'm saying. Banlist needs some work. I mean, yeah. So yeah, that's all I got for you guys today, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.